All right, guys, spoiler alert. Arman Tsarukyan was not injured going into this fight. If you guys still believe that this guy pulled out of this fight because of some kind of back issue, I have a bridge to sell you in Wyoming that has already collapsed. You know, like this is not even really any kind of big reveal here, but I'm going to show you how I know. And I'm going to show you specifically, actually, I want to show you a video from some buddies of mine who have another YouTube channel, and Justin Jane, who's a UFC, I almost called him a YouTube fighter, a UFC fighter. He's actually got a bare knuckle fight coming up also. I'll show you guys that in a second. But he went through exactly what it's like cutting weight for the UFC, what that process is like. And then we're going to go through again. I mean, I know I already showed this on my other video where Dana White's like, yeah, he's not getting a title shot. But more specifically, I want to show you Arman Tsarukyan's reaction to finding out that he's not going to get the next title shot. I mean, like, I know it's the same thing as the Conor McGregor case that we talked about ad nauseum, where it's like, okay, so I just want to make sure I understand. So she's like, oh, let's party, Conor. Let's party, Conor. And then what happened after that? She's like, he was choking me, and he said, this is how I got choked out in the octagon 3 times. Then he beat me up. He kept making me unconscious. And then he pulverized my whole body, and I could just barely breathe. I was bleeding and bruised, and he just took it, and I did not like it. You're all, what'd you do after that? She's all, well, you can see what I did on the CCTV footage. I went downstairs and I partied. It was really fun. And you're like, you went down and partied after he beat you up mercilessly and took it. Okay, it's like that. Where you're like, okay, so here's Arman Tsarukyan in previous situations. Example, this one. Here's Arman Tsarukyan coming into UFC 300. I had a better view than this video shows, but here you go. Punch a fan. Oh, shit. Right? So that's Arman Tsarukyan. In case you guys don't remember who this person is, okay, he tried to punch a fan that gave him the finger. And then when we asked him, hey, man, like, what happened there? He was like, he showed me middle finger. And they're like, right. He's like, I'm Russian. And you're like, okay. Honestly, I got no issues with that at all. As a matter of fact, that was one of my favorite. I actually became a fan of Arman Tsarukyan in that moment. I mean, totally serious. Where it was, I love the answer, I'm Russian. It really is one of my favorite answers ever, you know? So wait, so why did you do that thing? I'm Russian. And you're like, fair, honestly. That's fair. I have always gotten along with Russian people, always. I have actually never met a person from Eastern Europe that I did not like. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of them out there. I have never met one. For whatever reason, me and people from Eastern Europe get along very well. I have a lot of Eastern European in my heritage, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just the like, this is who I am, fuck you attitude. You know what I mean? But bottom line is, this is not a non-confrontational guy, okay? Remember the thing with Bobby, what's his name? Bobby Green, okay? Remember this, dude? Hey, here, let's just do this real quick. Arman Tsarukyan, Bobby Green. Yeah, I feel like something happened here, right?
Talking shit about you.
Oh, boys. Boys.
I mean, whatever you want to do, bro. We get it popping.
You can say it, mama.
Bro, put your people on my face, bro. Put your people on my face.
We can't let go one-on-one.
We can do whatever you want to do, bro. Whatever you want to do, man. Get down.
Wait, please.
Hey, listen. Listen, I don't do all that talking about back. Go on face. What's up? Whoa.
Come on. Main event.
What do you want to my face like that shit, bro?
And hey, what they're whispering to him? No, main event. So, there's that. That's Arman Tsarukyan, okay? So when you say he's not getting a title shot, I'm going to watch how he reacts. You know, like his title shot's over, man. The guy had his shot. He blew it. It's like, well, let's see how he reacts. Because he's certainly, he's Mr. Chill guy from Russia, right? Like he's probably not going to take that very well, right? Now, in a second, I'm going to let a much more credible voice than mine tell you all about why this is almost certainly a weight blow right here. A weight blow. Like he blew making weight. And that's Justin Jane right there, UFC fighter. Okay, so, but here's the deal, okay? This is a simple equation. Let's say Arman Tsarukyan was going to miss weight. What happens at that point? Okay. A, he can't win the belt. Can't win the belt, right? So let's say he's going to make 156. He can't win the belt. So he's going to fight against Islam Makhachev, potentially lose all chances at another title shot, right? The second he steps on the scale when he misses weight, this is a wrap for him, dude. Okay. That's a wrap for him. And also, before we look at what Justin said, keep in mind that when Dana White said he is going back to the drawing board, he's not getting a title shot, he's going to have to fight someone else, that should be a devastating piece of information for someone who got injured. Like, if you really got so injured the night before the fight that you couldn't fight, that's like a serious thing that you couldn't move. And Dana questioned his heart. And I'm only questioning one person's heart, and that's the person watching this who has not subscribed to the channel and liked this video yet. You can earn my respect by changing that right now. What? I'm just kidding. But you can subscribe and like the video, and I would appreciate it. Dana was directly, he's like, hey, man, we went down there with the best doctors in the world. Only he knows whether or not he could have fought. All right. Dana was pissed, obviously, right? And let's just look real quick. Here is Arman's reaction, okay, to finding out that he's not getting the title shot. Look at this, dude. He responds to losing the title shot. I'm not surprised. Top contender Arman Tsarukyan was scheduled to fight. You got it. I'm not surprised. He may be the number one ranked lightweight contender, but he's not going to. Okay, so now if any of you guys saw what he said to Ariel Helwani, he says, everything was good, but like Wednesday after training, I went to sleep and I started feeling my lower back. I couldn't sleep all night and I felt something happened. I took some painkillers and they didn't help. But the next day I felt like it's going to be good. After the press conference, I'm going to start cutting weight. When I start my weight cut, I was doing the bike and like moment and like that, like the moment my back got stuck and I couldn't move. I just laid down. Crazy pain. I couldn't do cardio. And then the UFC doctor and started to help me do some PT. And they said, you're going to be all right in the morning. If you're going to feel the same, you cannot continue to cut weight. Okay. So he acknowledges right there that it was still about the weight cut. I was like 6 pounds left when I went to sleep. The pain was the same. And at like 5 a.m., I said to my manager, it's the same pain. I couldn't move. My lower back was stuck and I cannot continue. Okay. Now, here is the biggest part of that quote from Arman. He's still saying that he got injured, but here's the bottom line. When I talked to my insiders, they all had heard that he was on weight. Okay. That's why I let go of the maybe he missed weight. It's because they're like, nah, man, he was on weight. Well, this is Arman right here saying in plain English that as he interacted with the UFC doctors, he definitely was not on weight. He still had 6 pounds left when he quit cutting weight because of his back. Okay. Now let's keep that in mind as we go into Justin talking through exactly what it's like and why he thinks that he missed weight, because once you hear it from here, this conversation's over, man. All right, so now I'm going to let you hear it from a much more credible voice than my own. This is Justin Jane on the 10-7 MMA show. This is a great show, by the way. I'm buddies with both of these guys. And when you hear it from him and then you put it all together with what I just laid out here, Arman Tsarukyan missed weight. That's what's going on here. And he said it in plain English. He was 6 pounds over when he stopped cutting weight.
I'm here to tell you guys what I think happened with Arman Tsarukyan. Guys, his title fight with Islam Makhachev this past weekend was supposed to go down. But as most of you know, the day before the fight, Tsarukyan pulls out due to a back injury. All right, I hear the events leading up to this. Wednesday, he was on the bike and he hurt his back somehow. He went to sleep, he woke up, he felt better, started cutting weight again, it started to flare up, which led to him pulling out of his title fight. Guys, I don't believe it. I'm not saying I'm 100%, but I'm going to tell you all the reasons why I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either, if I haven't made that clear.
Had trouble making weight before.
As far as your weight, any concerns long term? What happened there?
This time, really, it's my bad, because when I started cutting weight, and then I gonna show my weight, I lost like 500 grams. I said it's impossible, but I think next time I will do my weight, because all time I did easy, This time, next time will be better, Sorry about my weight.
That in and of itself is damning right there. It's like guys that have had trouble missing weight before, that's a problem for them. Like there are certain guys that literally never miss weight. It's never a problem for them, whether it's a genetics thing, whether it's a discipline thing, whether it's whatever. But there are plenty of guys that you could think of that have absolutely never had a problem missing weight, where it's just I don't know. They don't do it. Look at Conor. Okay. Conor used to make 45 and never had even a little bit of a challenge on it. If you want to give Conor credit on one thing, give him credit on that.
And making 156, at contender weight when you're fighting for contendership is tough. But then making 155.0 is really tough. That extra pound, guys, if you guys don't know, is a huge difference. And I've been a half pound over before, and I'm done. Like that last pound can be devastating. That last half pound can be devastating. So I'm going to speak from experience here. It's like I've been in situations to where I want to stop cutting weight, especially if I've struggled in the past. He has UFC doctors around him that can say if he can compete or not compete. And from my understanding, doctors were fine with him competing. His pre-fight medicals, they were passed. Even after he said he hurt his back. They said he could compete if he wanted to. Obviously, we can't make him fight, especially if there's an injury that they're not entirely sure of. But they did say they were comfortable with him competing. All right, now, if Tsarukyan comes in and misses championship weight against Islam, he's never getting another title shot ever again, regardless of the outcome, even if he goes in there and knocks Islam out. So I really think that...
I don't agree with that, but his point is valid, obviously. But, I think if he went in there and knocked out Islam, he probably gets another title shot. But that's the only way.
Arman thought he was going to miss weight, and he made an excuse to why he missed weight. You have guys coming in and checking on you, checking how you're cutting weight the whole time, and some of those guys might have thought that he was struggling. He was struggling with his weight cut, and then they go over and tell Dana White. And really what topped it off for me to know that he missed weight is Dana White's reaction.
Arman Tsarukyan, what do you do with him at this point? Do you automatically rebook him in the next title fight? Do you go back to the drawing board?
No.
Hell no.
Yeah, he's going back to the drawing board. I don't want anybody to ever fight hurt, ever. We've been in these positions before. Went down there with the doctor. Went down there with Heather from the PI, who is, you can ask any fighter or anybody else, she's the best in the world. And you miss opportunities sometimes, and he did. So.
I know a lot of people hate on Dana White. He is a businessman. The UFC is not a family business. The UFC never owes you anything, no matter what you do for them. I learned that firsthand. I fought twice on less than 3-day notice for the UFC, and it felt like every fight I was in, I was always a huge dog. And, I always was like, man, they really don't like me. It's not that they didn't like me. It's that they're a business, and they have to do what's best for their business, and they were using me as a villain, which is fine. Now later on in life, I realized that.
And honestly, every time that Dana is given the opportunity to demonstrate whether they're going to prioritize maximizing profits or doing the right thing for specific fighters, they always take care of their guys. Dude, this last weekend, they paid Dariush his show and win money. They didn't have to do that. Legally, they did not have to do that. Contractually, I believe they probably had to give him his show money because I think he had already weighed in. But they didn't have to do that. They paid him an additional, I think it was $250,000 to $350,000. They take care of the fighters to do the right things. However, if you miss weight as a headliner, they're going to break your balls. And they are not, they don't owe you a title shot. That's the other thing. It's no matter, all these people are like, give me my title shot. You'll earn your title shot, dude. And just winning fights doesn't do it. That's not the business. Like Justin said, it's a fucking business. Make it to where they're going to make the most money by giving you the title shot. That's your job.
But with that being said, Dana White has a lot of sympathy for the fighters. That he knows that this is our job. He knows that this is our paycheck. So when guys really get hurt or have to pull out, he has a lot of sympathy for them. You can see it in his expression. You can see it in the way he talks. He'll mention how much sympathy he has for him. But when talked about Arman, he basically is blank-faced, and he's like, yeah, he's not going to get a title fight for another year. And to me, that said a lot. He was very bland about it. He was very straight to the fact that he's never going to give another title shot. So going back to the UFC doctors...
Well, he didn't say never. He said he's not going to get one immediately.
And the UFC staff coming in and watching you cut weight. Through all my weight cuts in the UFC, I had people coming in and out to see what I was doing, to see how I was feeling, to check on me and this and that. And those guys, if I was not doing well, especially if it was a title fight, are going to go to Dana White and report that, hey, this guy's not doing well. And I think somewhere in the hotel, somewhere where he's cutting weight, I think somebody of importance in the UFC saw that he was struggling, went and told Dana White, is this official? No, it's not. But I have a feeling that this happened, and that's why Dana White didn't have the sympathy. They knew that he was struggling cutting weight, and all of a sudden, he hurts his back. Dana White and the UFC are not buying it. I think he was overweight, man, and he knew if he stepped on that scale over 155.0, he was going to be the embarrassment. You know, it is what it is. It's a theory I have, and it's a pretty educated theory. And, you know, talking to other educated coaches, they have said the same, that he's struggled in the past making weight. So it all makes sense. Arman.
I am 100% aligned with Justin on this, and I want to show you guys one other thing, dude. The only other thing to consider is this one, dude. Like, there's also the only other thing that I could think of would have been him popping hot based on, this picture over here that, I mean, is just like, oh my God. And if he's not on PEDs, he should consider this a compliment, because good God, he looks jacked, stripped to the bone, carrying that much muscle. But also, if he was having a problem making weight, I can understand why he's carrying that much muscle on him. Look at, does that physique look like there's a lot of water on it? Does that look, like he said he had 6 pounds to go, right? He said he had 6 pounds to go. Look at that picture. Anybody who has any experience cutting weight, does that look like there's 6 pounds to easily cut off of that? Like, I mean, maybe you can get there, but this is just training in the middle of his training camp. This is just the middle of his fucking training camp, and he looks like that, dude. So all of it lines up. I think there is a high probability that Justin is right, and that is definitely where my opinion lands now. Also, that's what I got. Love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Go check out 10-7 MMA. That's it. Bye.